So as I do, I had this idea a while back. I just wanted to work on a monologue and film it. And the whole idea behind the YouTube channel, really for Tsunami Healing, is I wanted to be able to display my acting career in a way that I haven't yet. To be absolute. Look at me. Giddy. Like a child on Christmas morning. I mean, of course, I have IMDb, I have Backstage and Actors Access, and you can go on those, you can see my reels. But I know a lot of the time when you're first starting out, especially, like, you don't get a chance to really do the gigs that you want to do, right? So I said, you know what, I'm going to cast myself in the roles that I want to play. And for me, it was the charismatic villain. Everyone's just sitting there, watching the world crumble from behind a screen. And what's any of us doing about it? Any of you doing about it? So I had this idea. I called Kevin up, and I said, Kevin, I want to do this monologue. And I was like, let's do a whole working session. And, let's take 2 or 3 hours. And you work on your piece. I'll work on my piece. I'll direct you. You direct me. It'll be great. And then from that, we had a lot of great discovery sessions, and we had some good podcast episodes. We just talked about what we learned. So the monologue that I found was this one off of, it was just online. It wasn't from a play. It wasn't from anything. Just someone anonymously wrote it and put it online. And the monologue is called The Box Killer. And there wasn't really any backstory to it. So I gave some backstories, a little bit of depth to it, as you will. And Kevin was reading this while I was getting ready, and he gave me some good notes to kind of give it a little bit more context and depth. But what I came up with is this guy is a warehouse worker who couldn't make it up the corporate ladder, and he digs ditches in construction. And there's been a lot of tension with his wife. He recently just got divorced. So the very quick daydreams that I did in the beginning was his wife and himself were arguing. There was a lot of stress and anxiety coming from that. The second one is he's digging ditches, taking crap from his job, so he has this really low self-confidence. And the third one is he's working in the warehouse, just taking a bunch of crap from his boss. So stress, anxiety, low self-confidence, a lot of internal rage. And essentially this guy has no control over his life. And what he's doing in this moment is you catch him becoming that cult leader. But you see, this is not the people in the public that control it. It's people like us in the shadows. Yeah. It's people like us who are really pulling the strings. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. They're going to use all that violence and put me in the newspapers and put me on tabloids and put me on TikTok and blah, 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 blah! If you will, he's building the control. He's a control freak. And you see him, like Kevin said, give you that poison. So, Kevin, you had a lot of great notes for me in the initial. When I first started doing this monologue, I was standing up. And I did it right here in the living room, and I was pushing, I was yelling a lot, and I felt like that was so unnecessary. I felt like that wasn't getting the message across, and that was in our first session. Can you blame me? I'm finally going to be able to help everyone understand what the hand of rectitude truly looks like. And Kevin gave me a lot of great notes, and at the time, he was working on his Gettysburg Address for voiceover.
Still working on that, by the way. Just want to throw that in. Still working on it.
Yeah. So, and I was giving him a lot of great notes. But I came back in session 2, and I don't think I recorded it, and I wish I would have. But instead of standing up, I did the whole monologue sitting down. Kind of like how I am now. Very relaxed, very poised. I wasn't yelling at all. I didn't push anything. And the whole concept I had in my mind at that time is I watch a lot of wrestling promos, especially growing up. And one of the wrestlers that I really studied in his promos, there was a lot of them, but one of them was Jake the Snake Roberts.
I remember.
Because what he would do in his promos is he would talk really quiet, and he would bring you. He was really good at bringing you in. They've sensationalized men like me, created us, even. Only the truly wicked and awfully vile should fear me. And then once he brought you in, once the camera was zoomed in on him, then he would drop the hatchet or stab you with it or whatever he was saying.
Drop the bomb.
Make you drink the poison, if you will. So that's what I had in my mind. That was where my mindset was the next session that we did. And again, we didn't record any of it, but I just kept thinking back. And Kevin, you told me, you said you reminded me of Reverend Jim Jones, the cult leader that came up with the phrase, drink the Kool-Aid. I'm so glad you're taking this journey with us. And I had heard about him, and I knew a little bit about him, but then I really went and I studied him, like Kevin has suggested. And what I got from that, and what we kind of talked from that, it doesn't matter any cult leader, whether it was Hitler, Jim Jones, Jeffrey Dahmer, Donald Trump, doesn't matter, like whatever cult leader there is, it's just a couple things that you need in order to get a following. That is, you have to be charismatic. You have to believe in what you're telling people. And then because of those two things, people are going to believe in what you're doing and they're going to follow you. So just by studying Jim Jones and getting the recommendations from Kevin, I was able to put this together. And that's what you're going to see in this monologue that we put together. So before we do that, Kevin, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Because you were the one directing me and sitting behind the camera, seeing me as I was going through all these different sessions.
Well, with this last session, what I saw was, and I gave you this example is, remember the Wicked Queen from Snow White. Why is she so frightening? Because everybody knows that film was in 1937. That film won an Academy Award. It was one of the first animated films that Walt Disney won an Academy Award for.
Yep.
And I can remember when I was 4 or 5, when the first time I saw it, when at the beginning, you didn't even see the witch, you saw these hands come down and that she's transforming, and they turn into those ugly hands, and that still imprints upon me the power of transformation, the power of insinuating evil. So what I told you was, bring the poison apple.
Yeah.
Now you remember that was the key. Present the poison apple.
Yeah, and I love what you asked me at the beginning. You said, okay, by the end of this monologue, are we letting the bomb explode or are we lighting the fuse? And I told you, I said we're lighting the fuse. So that whole time I was in it, I was thinking, the whole there's tension building the whole monologue, and at the end, that last line, like you said, I delivered it. That's me putting the fire behind it, so to speak.
And when you see the final scene, or what we worked on, I could feel it. You delivered the poison apple. And I keep going back to that scene because she's a peasant, supposedly a peasant woman. She puts it right in front of your face. She doesn't give it to you.
Offers it to you.
They take it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a note that you gave me from the second session, and you told me in this session as you were directing me, is like, you need to sugarcoat it more. So I was trying to find that balance of, I want to scare you, put fear into your soul, but at the same time, I want to bring you in. Kind of how Jake the Snake Robber does when he's talking really low. I want to entice you to come drink the Kool-Aid, to come drink the poison. I don't want to shove it down your throat. I want to give you the option, but I want to trick you into taking the option, and then I'm going to enjoy watching you as you slowly die.
I want you to take that option, because I am thinking back on Jonestown, a real happening.
Right.
where I may be wrong, but it's just like they were holding people's mouths open.
Right. And people were,
They were forced to do it.
yeah, but and then there were some people though who were openly allowing it to come.
That's what's scary.
How I think about Ted Bundy, how he was up on trial and women were saying, no, he's innocent. Like, that's how charismatic this person was, and that's very scary. To know that somebody is blatantly guilty, but yet you're standing up there fighting for them, saying, no, they're innocent.
And to bring that within 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. So this was a fun one. I told Kevin I kind of went through different stages of it. When I first started out, and I think we did those first few sessions, I was initially very, very excited about it. And then time went on, and, you know, procrastination set in, and I wasn't quite as excited about it. And the more and more I did it, I started to realize that this is just not a character. I would never speak this way. I would never do it this way. So I think I want to do another one. So I was like, I need to finish this because I want to put a cap on it so I can move forward. And what I realized is that I didn't really do a lot of script analysis with this one like I normally would. For all my people at ASIC, you know, I didn't do my CMOA. I didn't do my circumstance, my meaning, my objective, my action. I think I put actions to it in the beginning, and obviously I did my daydreams, and I did give it some context. But I didn't like go through and do it for every single line. But what I did do that was more, it was definitely different, and it was fun this time, is I just did all my discovery and all my play and all of my context through these working sessions that Kevin and I did. So I was able to form this character and deliver it just physically, not necessarily like analytically through the script. I think, you know, if I were to do this again, I would give that more script analysis, more time. But I would definitely marry it with the physical discovery because I think both are very important.
And I think the script analysis is made easier
Right.
because of the character analysis.
Of course.
All that foundation.
Yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy The Box Killer. And thank you, Kevin, for all your help. I'm so glad you're taking this journey with us. I've put so much time and effort into what's coming. It's going to be absolutely, look at me, giddy, like a child on Christmas morning. Can you blame me? I will finally be able to help everyone understand what the hand of rectitude truly looks like. Everyone's just sitting there, watching the world crumble from behind a screen, and what are any of us doing about it? Any of you doing about it? Not anymore. I refuse to idly stand by and watch everything we've worked toward crumble. The media will portray me as a monster. They always have. They'll capitalize on my necessary violence in order to sell more newspapers. They've sensationalized men like me. Created us, even. Only the truly wicked and awfully vile should fear me. I'll see you soon.